Hello and welcome to What is the Tree of Life and What Can It Do for You? My name is May Edwards and I'm so glad you stopped by. Oh, and here's a little message for you today to remind you that the world needs you so very much. The Tree of Life is arguably the most important concept in all of Kabbalah. To me, this glyph is sacred geometry and a peek into the divine mind. This concept of the Tree of Life is exceedingly helpful in healing and elevating a person's emotional, spiritual, and even physical health. There's a macrocosmic interpretation of the Tree of Life, seeing it as the universe and all the aspects of the creative life force. And also, it's you, your consciousness, your nervous system, the person you are, and all of your aspects. In the macrocosmic view, the creator or source, starting at the top of the tree, sets off the Big Bang of creation. And this flash descends like a lightning bolt through all the levels and layers pictured here. It's the path of the flaming sword. In the micro-interpretation, we can see our ascension up through levels of consciousness as a serpent of wisdom, starting at the bottom in a circle or Sephirah called Malkuth or earth, making our way back up to the source in a path opposite of the flaming sword. Each circle or Sephirah has a unique set of traits or aspects. Plural, these are called Sephirot. These 10 or 11 Sephirot are aspects of either God's mind or our levels of consciousness within you, which become more awakened the more you work with the tree. Examining the Tree of Life symbol or glyph, we see there are 10 circles of differing color, plus one more circle here that's usually not shown called Da'at. It's thought that Da'at was where all 10 Sephirot of the Tree of Life were united perfectly as one. Da'at's meaning is knowledge. The 10th sphere or Sephirah is called Malkuth. This is the physical world we are all living in right now. It means kingdom. To me, it's the fruit of all the dreaming, all the planning, the attempts, the failures, and finally the successes. Malkuth is also what I think of as the plane of the builders, with the 4 elements, air, fire, earth, and water, coming together to birth a physical thing into this realm. Malkuth is also about our physical body. Are we getting nourishment? Are we taking care of our health? And also with matters related to our emotional well-being. I often contemplate Malkuth as the fruit of the divine, with the roots that nourish us up at the top of the tree. Yesod is the 9th Sephirah, or foundation. This is the imagination where we dream and make the blueprint of all of our wildest fantasies. The blueprint the builders of Malkuth bring into fruition. This is also what is referred to as the astral or etheric body. The planetary representation of the moon is associated with this sphere. Hod is the 8th Sephirah, also referred to as splendor. This is the energy of our thinking mind and is represented by the planet Mercury, the winged messenger god. Mercury expresses through written language and speech via relaying tangible messages. But this energy field isn't simply our brains. It's a field of energetic conceptual attitude that is our vibration, the same way our etheric energy field emanates from us. Netzach is the 7th Sephirah, known as victory, and is symbolized by the planet and goddess of love, Venus. This is our emotional body. If we need healing from lack of maternal love to improve our self-worth, our self-esteem, we can make a lot of hearty progress in this dimension. I know I sure have. The mental sphere and the emotional sphere both play parts in our egoic perceptions, our identity, but they are at extremes of one another. So to bring them into balance, we proceed up the tree to the 6th Sephirah, Tiphereth, which is symbolized by the supreme luminary in our world, the sun. Beauty is the name of this Sephirah, and it is one of my happiest places to be. It is Christ consciousness, or the higher self, the HGA, Holy Guardian Angel. This is the balance we seek to bring into our being as we work with Tiphereth. It's where we leave our ego behind and ascend through purer states of consciousness. In order to reach Tiphereth, however, we must pass through the veil or mist of Paroket, illusion. This portal leaves illusion behind. Our egoic self, our persona, fades away as the soul begins to recognize itself. Piercing the veil requires mastery of 4 disciplines: to know, to will, to dare, and to keep silent. There are triangles drawn that break down these states of God consciousness or your consciousness. These triads summarize states of being: the egoic triangle, is called the astral triad and is comprised of 9 Yesod, 8 Hod, and 7 Netzach. Above that, the trinity of the archangels, or the ethical triad, comprised of 6 Tiphereth the sun, 5 Qabalah, which embodies Mars, and Chesed, which is symbolized by the jovial, expansive, and just god Jupiter. Chesed's name means mercy, and his Sephirah is the opposite of Mars. Mars signifies war, severity, and is oftentimes accompanied with much suffering, because it is divine will blasting away the old in order for change and a new growth to burst forth. A time of endings, which is often quite difficult, but not without hope, for newness when the rubble eventually settles. Jupiter, or mercy, in Chesed can be taken too far, with having too much compassion for others and perhaps not enough for ourselves. This amounts to others taking advantage of our generosity, for example. In order to climb higher into what is called the supernal triad, into the consciousnesses of Sephirot 3, 2, and 1, we are tackling terrain quite incomprehensible to us, and it requires us to quote-unquote cross the abyss, and we'll actually never really know this triad beyond conceptualizations while we're still human. The third Sephirah, Binah, is represented by Saturn, and it means understanding. This is a dark and difficult aspect of God, or of ourselves, but it is this necessary ordering and organizing the boundaries and restrictions necessary to make up the building blocks of this physical plane. This is the concept of womb and the challenges of bringing idea into form. The second Sephirah is named Chokmah, and it means wisdom. It's represented by the zodiac, and truly it's pure, raw God energy, pure force prior to being encapsulated by form. Chokmah is the emanation of Father God, where Binah is the great dark mother. And at the top of the tree of life is the crown, or Kether. This is the point of divine creation. This is the I am that I am. This Sephirah signifies all oneness. Whenever I contemplate Kether, I think of an essential, hermetic, Kabbalistic formula that reads, one is thy beginning, one is thy individuality, thy permutation is one. Above Kether are Ein Sof, and Ein Sof Or, which again are concepts that are quite beyond us. Ein means absolute emptiness, Ein Sof is absolute limitlessness, and Ein Sof Or translates to limitless light. One last thing, an important thing. Between the different Sephirot, or spheres, are lines or paths from one level of consciousness to another. These paths are so symbolically valuable when we take the time to meditate them. Each of these paths also have a tarot card from the major arcana associated with them, making each path's contemplation even richer and more meaningful. If you're enjoying this and getting some useful information, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment so we can do this great and joyful work together. Thank you for watching, and until next time, please be so good to yourself for me.